12th, Amazon Prime Air abruptly withdrew from the Commercial Drone Alliance. The split fractures a major trade coalition right as the commercial drone industry is attempting to scale up. The departure stems from a specific near-miss incident. An Amazon drone encountered a helicopter that standard tracking instruments simply couldn't see. The helicopter was flying blind to the drone's electronic sensors. This clash arrives exactly as the Federal Aviation Administration finalizes its rules for BVLOS. BVLOS stands for Beyond Visual Line of Sight, a regulatory framework allowing operators to fly drones entirely out of the pilot's direct view. By pulling out of the alliance now, the most experienced operator in the sky is breaking industry consensus at the exact moment the rules for the next decade are being written. Regulators and operators now face a hard choice. They have to weigh the economic preferences of a united trade group against hard empirical safety data from the field. The core issue centers on non-cooperative aircraft. These are planes and helicopters that fly without transmitting identification signals or communicating with standard air traffic control networks. You find them operating dynamically at low altitudes. Emergency medical helicopters, for example, often fly fast, unpredictable routes and frequently operate without functioning transponders. Agricultural pilots fly even lower. Crop dusters operate mere feet above the ground, entirely outside standard tracking and electronic conspicuity systems. For years, the drone industry relied on theoretical models to estimate the risk of hitting one of these aircraft. Amazon, however, brought proprietary data from 70,000 actual commercial deliveries. Across those flights, Amazon's active detect and avoid system successfully executed evasive maneuvers on 2 non-cooperative aircraft. Without that active hardware on board, Amazon stated the encounters would have resulted in catastrophic, fatal mid-air collisions. When the largest dataset of actual near misses in commercial drone history contradicts the prevailing theoretical models, those old models become obsolete overnight. The Commercial Drone Alliance advocates for a different approach called electronic conspicuity. This is a proposed framework that would require all manned aircraft operating below 500 feet to constantly broadcast their location via satellite. Comparing standard drone payload capacity against active detection hardware requirements reveals massive weight penalties and severe costs. Factoring this heavy hardware into small-scale operations drives profit margins below zero, making standard inspection or mapping financially impossible. The alliance represents companies running these mid-size, lightweight logistics operations. They need regulations that keep the sky accessible without overwhelming their aircraft with expensive sensors. Amazon operates on a completely different scale. They fly heavy-lift drones over densely populated neighborhoods. For them, the massive liability of a crash over a city easily justifies the cost of heavy, expensive safety technology. That technology is Active Detect and Avoid, or DAA. DAA is a system where the drone emits its own signals, like radar or LiDAR, to actively scan for and dodge all physical obstacles in its path, whether those obstacles are transmitting an ID signal or not. Both sides are mathematically correct for their specific business models, and that makes writing a single, unified safety regulation for the entire industry nearly impossible. This leaves the Federal Aviation Administration facing a severe regulatory dilemma as they finalize the new drone rules. If the FAA sides with the alliance, they ignore the largest, most concrete safety dataset ever recorded in the industry. But if they adopt Amazon standards, they mandate hardware that prices small businesses entirely out of the sky. European and Asian aviation regulators are closely watching how the U.S. handles this split, using the FAA's eventual decision to establish their own global operational standards. Regardless of what final language the FAA publishes, this split is already causing immediate practical changes for commercial operators on the ground. Insurance underwriters are reviewing Amazon's near-miss data right now. To secure high liability coverage policies, insurers will soon start requiring active collision avoidance capabilities, making it a financial necessity. For drone service providers bidding on lucrative corporate or government contracts, investing early in advanced detect and avoid technology is rapidly becoming a major competitive advantage. The period of relying on industry-wide consensus has ended. We are now in a data-driven reality, where operators will have to independently shoulder the burden of proving their aircraft are safe enough to share the sky.